I'd love to listen to this like all night. Problem is, we get we get flagged for that every time. We have to stop the music. That is some hidden ass music though, right there. So okay, so somebody asked a question. Compare life between Medellin, Colombia, and Mexico. It is the same as like it could not be more different. It's like it isn't just two different countries, it's two different languages, it's two different types of people. Okay, here in Mexico, people are Hispanic, they're shorter. In some places they're taller, in other places they're blonde haired, blue eyed, red haired, green eyed in other places. There are several different native tribes. A lot of their families come from different backgrounds. So that's very different from Colombia. Colombia has paisas, which are a combination of the Lebanese and Armenian with the Spaniards. And then there's other places like the Pacific, which is Choco, which is the Africans and, well, the native melanated people, the blacks of Colombia. Also Venezuela, also of Panama, all blacks. So you want to know the difference? Well, people are much nicer in Colombia. They're kinder, sweeter. And they're very nice to you, personally to you. They would never do or say anything to ever hurt your feelings. That's for sure. What I leave there, food's better in Mexico. You can actually have things in Mexico. You can't have nice things in Colombia because people steal them from you. And if they get really envious of you, they may even try and kill you. Or the dudes are such hardcore cock blockers. It's crazy. So all that aside, so the person who asked this question also wanted to know about a kid that I had with a Turkish girl when I was stationed in Germany, right at the end of my career there. What happened there? The girl knew I was on my way out because, let's see, first of all, let's back up a little bit. I was a little slick sleeve, had just come back from the fucking war. And I met this girl as I was getting out of my marriage. I was still married to her. She was in the States. And I was with this girl secretively between the two of them. Neither of them knew about the other one. And so this girl was already married to a GI. She was divorcing him or something like that. And so that ran its course. And then when I tried to get away from her, then it was like constant like verbal abuse. And then it was like threats and everything else. And then it's like, surprise, I'm pregnant. Now you're stuck. And I'm like, oh, I got baby trapped. So what ended up finding out was the kid that she had prior to the guy that she was with me, she fucked around on that guy and had a kid with another guy who was like his best friend or something. And so this whole 18 years that she'd been collecting like child support from this guy, he'd been losing his license. He was getting his garnish his wages. Anytime he'd get a tax return, she would get it. Turned out it was never his kid at all. Never was his kid. So anyway, poor guy. Anyway, if that's your case, I would go get a DNA test and then go get a lawyer and then get a court-ordered DNA test and, wash your hands of that whole business, because if they're going to do that to you, dude, they'll do it to the next guy too. But let's say it is your kid. The reason why parental alienation is so huge right now is because 30% of the children born are out of paternity fraud, meaning there's one guy that thinks it's their kid who is paying for who they think is their kid that turns out to not be their kid, a kid from somebody else. And what they do is they select, guys with strong sperm to have kids with, which would be like Chad and Tyrone in the fucking neighborhood. And then they'll expect a guy who makes money, who may not be as strong, who might not be as athletic, but she'll gladly take his paycheck and spend his money on a kid that is not even his. And so she'll have Chad and Tyrone's baby. In fact, Chad and Tyrone have like 20% of all of the kids now. And all the rest of us who assume that we're the father are the ones paying for 18 years. So, and see, I want to give this kid the benefit of the doubt because he has the same personality as I do. However, when I reached out to this kid, he had told me that he had found me on Facebook when he was like 16 years old. And I said, why didn't you say anything then? Why didn't you say anything to me? Because I was reaching out to him through the local newspaper, which is the old school newspaper that was there in Germany. Because that's how you did things. They didn't have internet back then. They had internet, but it wasn't as common like social media and all that stuff. So he found me on Facebook when he was 16, but never said anything. So anyway, I was, I got tired of being sick and tired for a very, very long time. And I had paid for all my sins, all the bad shit I'd ever done, and anybody I'd done it to. I had made amends with everybody after I got sober. So there's really no, blaming me for stuff that, it's like you already went to jail for the dumb shit you did. And then when you get out of jail, people correlate that with you being you for the rest of your life. So if you got a DUI when you were 21 years old, for the next 20 years, you're going to be like, oh, this motherfucker got a DUI, he's a drunk or whatever. And that is going to be their memory of you frozen in time. So now here I am 22 years later, and here I have a son that's in Germany that, I would love to have in my life. The first conversation I had with him, I said, where do I send a plane ticket so that I can bring you here to Mexico so you can check it out, so you can get to know me, you know what I mean? Get to know me and stuff, because you don't need to be, look, you could have been with me all these years. And unfortunately, you know what I mean, that if his mom was so mad at me that she's willing to say and do anything to punish me, you know what I mean, out of retribution, she's punishing the kid. Now the kid is emasculated. Now the kid doesn't even talk like a man. Now he just gets combative with me. And I'm like, wait a minute. I mean, you're getting mad at the stuff I did before you were even born? And he's telling me I need to get my life together and all this stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute. The 20-year-old me, or the 28-year-old me at the time, was a womanizer, was an alcoholic. You know what I mean? I just got back from the war, so I was a shattered mess. And this kid's mom told him that I got thrown out of the military, which was a lie. That I had kids all over the world, which is another lie. Because I only had him and I had his sister. And that was the only two that I knew about. And his sister, she's been all over the world. She's been to college and all this stuff. I didn't have a problem with her. I didn't have a problem with him. I had a problem with his mother, who threatened my life and sent guys to beat the fuck out of me. And so after that, I was like, why the fuck would I endure that? I'm not going to endanger my life. You know what I mean? Because let's just face it. I was a young 20-something-year-old guy. She was a 30-something-year-old girl who had hit the wall already, who needed a man to take care of her. Needed a guy to sponge off of and reinforce her delusion that she somehow has much more value than she actually did when she was a single mother. What was I doing with a single mother? I did not know any better, because you see, back in the 90s, they used to do this thing called simp songs, and they would train us to say, I don't see nothing wrong with a little bump and grind. And they would play these songs over and over and over again, and we would feed right into that shit, and next thing you know, these girls were pregnant. And I think this all fit into the child support system. I think this all fit into we don't need no man mentality that made independent women think that they didn't need us, and then they found a legal way to extract money from us so they didn't need us. So if they just needed us for money, they definitely did. And if they were getting money for divorcing us and having a child, and the government's wanting to put money up to support you even further with benefits and everything else, Now we're talking about a massive landslide in favor of the mother. So there's no incentive, period. It's all incentive for the woman and none for the man. The man loses. So what happened to me? 18 straight years of child support. And then when I talk to this kid, he tells me that he never got any child support. What are you talking about? So here's another situation where a kid has been told he never was given any money, and it came out of my check every single month, every year of my life. Trust me. So I was basically, it wasn't bankrupt. It didn't bankrupt me. So first of all the receipts are right there. Number one, yeah, you were definitely taken care of for 18 years. I paid child support into a fund straight through the state of Florida, which went straight to Rundstrasse, which is in Germany. And whether or not I had the money or not, they didn't give a shit. If I didn't and I lost my driver's license, they didn't give a shit. So, yeah, there's that. There's no getting around that shit. So anyway, getting told I had never paid child support was a huge fat lie. And so yeah, we basically for about 6 weeks talked back and forth and said, well, tell me exactly what you were told and I'll tell you if it was a lie. Well, my mom said you were a womanizer. That was also true. That is absolutely true. My mom said you were an alcoholic. That was definitely true. You threatened people. You got kicked out of the military. I said, that's not true. I don't know what the fuck that was. But just basically trying to pick apart any possible thing they could find to be resentful towards me about for trying to basically characterize me. You know, first talking to him, I assumed he was a college kid, so I was talking to him like I do regular students that are in college. And then he said, you sound like a frat boy trying to sound smart. And I'm like, oh, okay, so this is the direction we're going to go in. So what he started doing, what Kevin Samuels would call sign language, which is shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. Shaming, starting off with like, shaming, okay, father, you're a piece of shit because you left my mother. Not knowing the details of why. You know, it's not like we men randomly just get up and leave our women for no reason whatsoever. You know what I mean? Not that they absolute gems or anything, or that they had any problems. Him having lived with her all these years, he would know fucking personally that that's a combative woman that you don't fuck with. That's a woman that you just don't take seriously. And I didn't know any better. I was just a fuck boy. You know what I'm saying? I was a guy in my 20s that was good looking, in shape. You know what I mean? And she and I ran a fucking disco together. Whoop-de-fucking-do. It's not like, Lady Di and Prince whomever. So this was a toxic relationship. I was a guy that had just come back from the war, had PTSD, and was a full-blown alcoholic. And she was a club girl. So you could see that I've matured well beyond club girls since then. But I did not grow beyond not having always longed to see who my kid was. But because her mom was so combative with me and caused me all kinds of problems and stuff like that, I'm like, fuck this. Why in the hell am I going to endanger my life? And this lady is just going to give me hell. So she stole my passport to make sure I didn't leave the country. And then she sent guys to beat the fuck out of me. And then her next boyfriend was a cop. So they made it their point to harass me for some frivolous shit. And then they harassed me at my business that I owned and had a name on the lease. And then she was there with the cops and I tell him to leave. And I'm like, I'm the owner here. She's a girlfriend I just broke up with. And they're like, ma'am, you can't send the police out when you get mad at your ex-boyfriend. So you can see, guys, this was a very bad thing. I had girlfriends all over the place. They were calling me saying she came over here and threatened to cut my tits off. And I'm like, fuck, I rented a place. It was way the hell out of town. I go there in the afternoon with a box of my stuff. She goes, no, please, no. Your girlfriend was here and said all kinds of bad shit about you. You can't come here. And I'm like, holy fuck. I go to Frankfurt, which is like 45 minutes from where we were. And I've got, sure, she can't find me here. She had a PI tailing me the whole time. So you could see there's a good reason why I would want to fucking leave Germany. There's a reason why any man with a brain in his fucking head would know that you were in some kind of a danger and that you would know better than to stick around some kind of fucking lunatic like that. So to accuse me of abandonment, fucking guilty as charged. But when I reach out back to this kid and say, hey, I don't want you to feel like you're unwanted, I'm going to tell you why this happened. But you don't want to believe what I fucking tell you. You don't want to believe that I didn't do this just randomly because you're a piece of shit and nobody wanted you. No, your mother forced me out of your fucking life and then made you disappear because, trust me, I looked in all the fucking archives in all of the schools everywhere in K-Town looking for this kid's name. And then she'd like transpose his name, his first name and his middle name and his middle name and his last name because they're Turkish. You know what I'm saying? And then made it impossible for him to find. I couldn't find her on any social media platform. Nothing. For all those fucking years, I'm looking for them, and she's hiding in open space because I don't have anybody there anymore. But the K-Town community has a whole lot of people there. The military of the Kaiserslautern military community has a ton of people who are more than happy to reach out and touch someone. So I was able to find out the kid was actually still in Kaiserslautern. So when I did send him a message, I sent it to everybody with the same fucking name in Facebook, hoping that this kid would answer me back. And I don't know if it was a year or 2 years or whatever. Answered me back. We got in this nice long conversation. But you know what? It just went like this. It was just like a one-sided sign language. Shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. That's all it was. That's all I heard was his mother's voice through him. So I began to think about it. The fucking photos that he had on his WhatsApp were fake. So those were like AI generated photos. Maybe she took like an old picture of me and an old picture of him and put them together and made like this fake thing. Okay? But what confused me was that when I threw this question at him, and I deliberately did this to make him so that I would see how smart. If it was her, she wouldn't know anything about musical instruments. And so when he corrected me from the difference between brass and woodwind, I was like, aha. Then I knew that it was him. So if it was him, like I've said in many other videos, all this kid has to do is unblock me on WhatsApp and write me back. Write me back and act like a fucking man. That's my message to my own son, who now has taken on his mother's role of alienating me and doing exactly as she did. Because as the other one doesn't want to hear the truth. They want people to lie to him. And the thing is that kid got mad. He was like, you're not earning any brownie points with me. And I'm like, no, you're gonna accuse me of all the shitty stuff I did. I'm gonna admit to all of it because that's all the stuff I did. Sure I did. Of course I did. Then he said something, and like I said, I don't feed into arguments with women. And so if I was arguing with a woman, which is probably the case here, is that I was arguing with a woman pretending to be my son. Because I have no way of telling if that was him or not. Another thing is he kept calling me, he kept calling me something else. I don't remember. But anyway, the poor kid is delusional. He's been brainwashed by his mom to think I'm some kind of a monster or whatever, which I'm assuming that all you other guys have had the same problem. Also, if you have never paid child support, you're a deadbeat. You should be paying child support. If you can't, you should be making arrangements and saying, hey, look, I don't have a job yet. Here's the situation, and make do. And the court shouldn't have any hand in that. It shouldn't be forcing you to do anything, and if you don't, you're going to go to jail. That's bullshit. How are you supposed to pay child support if you go to jail? So, the alien nation. I think you guys were thinking that I was talking about something else. The alien nation. I could be. I went to the border, went across the border, and I came back across the border. No problem, period. But I did notice that as I was on my way in, that there were still a lot of Honduranians that were walking around panhandling and stuff. So there's a lot of them that didn't cross the border. There were little kids, and it was like a family of 4. So all reaching out, please give me money, please give me money, please. And then they would get mad if you didn't give it to them. So I'm like, definitely get the fuck out of here, man. Juarez is not a nice place whatsoever, but it is the fastest if you wanted to get across the border. Now that goes into El Paso, and El Paso is where, you've got this whole nice area to go to. It's very nice. It's very nice. Anyway, they have mail forwarding there in El Paso. They have every American bank there in El Paso. And it's been okay, I guess. Yeah. But anyway, if there's any questions whatsoever about any of the stuff I talked about, this is all factual stuff. None of this stuff I'm making up. I have no reason to lie to you guys about any of this stuff. And it's unfortunate that if you're being alienated by your kids now at this point because they don't believe anything you say, because you probably were a liar. If you were a liar back then and now you're growing up and you're still talking that way, you know what I mean? Then you get what you deserve. Because if you're a grown up and you're still doing dumb shit and fuck shit, then you get what you deserve. So that's why I'm like, I don't do dumb shit or fuck shit that you can accuse of me of anything. Which is why I was so easy for me to tell my son all this dumb shit I had done before. But you don't want to hear it. Okay? You want to be combative, don't want to hear what I have to say, but wants to side with his mother, which is totally okay. Because look, and now I'm the one being alienated, so the ball has always been in this kid's court. Because I'm the one who reached out and said, hey, look, what's up? And if you don't want to accept that shit as facts, call me a liar and all that stuff, then there's nothing to be lied about. Told you everything that you asked me, all the shitty stuff I done was true. So now when I bring out all the shit that, that your mother was completely and directly involved with, that was also quite shitty and illegal, was also true. You know what I'm saying? And see, I was still a young fucking kid. Now I'm 50 fucking years old. You think I got time to fuck around with some, nah. You don't want to accept it, it's okay. It's okay because you already had 22 years of somebody fucking lying to you about me when you could have had a relationship with me all this time. And you wouldn't be fucked up in the head thinking that your dad was a paranoid schizophrenic. Who the fuck told them that? Do you realize this? Somebody told my son that I was a paranoid schizophrenic. Now he believes that it's genetic and now he has paranoid schizophrenia. You guys get this? Well, whatever, and I'm sad to hear that because what if I was to snap my finger and say, you are not a paranoid schizophrenic? And you're fucking suddenly not because you never were. That is so sad to hear. This fucking woman fucked him up so bad. But anyway, I've gone into this pretty deeply and I didn't want to. You know what I'm saying? But apparently this was a message that needed to be heard by somebody. Okay? Needless to say, look, if I could go back in fucking time, I would have saw her for what she was and never made the decision of getting with her. That would have been what I would do if I was to talk to my 28-year-old self or whatever I was back then. Do not talk to that woman. She is a single mother. She is a troublemaker. And she will use and abuse you because she's a man-eater. So, and she will eventually be combative with you and cut you off from sex. And then you'll go cheat. And then she'll get mad because you cheat. And then she'll want to fucking kill you because you cheated. And then baby trap your ass. So that's how that went down. So any further bullshit on top of that, there's nothing real to that fucking story. That means I had a personal relationship with somebody who was fucking toxic as shit. And then told I was crazy and all this other stuff on top. But of course. What else? When you get to that point where you have no argument further with somebody, you just call them crazy, right? Or if you've done somebody wrong, you definitely want to make sure that you call them crazy so that will disprove anything they say and make anything you say. It'll confirm everything that you say. It'll coordinate with everything that you lie about that person. So as to put the worst. See, if I was so bad, why was this person with me for fucking so long? How's that grab you? If I was such a bad person, why was this person with me for so long? Because one, I was a manipulative little fuck with a good body. Bodybuilder, slick mouth, regular income. Here's a girl, looks halfway decent still, even though she's got a kid. Guy wants some easy fucking pussy. That's where I was. Coming back from the war, just had a divorce. Well, I was going through a divorce, just never told her about it. So there's that. So yeah, her finding that out, that I was still married the whole 2 years that I was with her, is enough to piss a woman off to send guys to beat your ass. That's enough. It's also enough that if you have a kid with that fucking asshole, hello, senor asshole here, that it's enough to say this guy's a fucking monster, he's a piece of shit, you don't want nothing to do with him. That makes perfect fucking sense to me, having actually been that person. But what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about your proverbial asshole father that after all these fucking years, you were ballsy enough to reach out to him? When he reaches out to you, you're a fucking asshole to him. And you expect, again, here's another fucking backwards ass mentality. A woman who thinks she's going to be combative with me and I'm going to stick around. And then I reach out to my son. My son's combative with me and you expect me to fucking want to talk to you? See, guys, expect this shit. If your son has been brainwashed by their mother to fucking hate you, prepare to have a battle with a fucking kid that is irrational and feminine in thinking, not rational in thinking. It's like, son, it isn't your fault that this shit went down with your mom, okay? But all this shit did happen, and it isn't your fault. That doesn't mean you're an unwanted child, which is exactly what this fucking kid told me. He told me his mother said that he was an unwanted child. Motherfucker, I never said that shit. In fact, when I finally was able to talk to him, I invited him to come here. And then it started just to dawn on me that this might be his fucking mother. Just catfishing me. Which I'd fully understand if you were such a curious type and you realize, boy, I really fucked up with that guy. Because here I am, now my secret is out that I actually did commit paternity fraud with my ex-husband, Gerald, who's in fucking Pine Bluffs, fucking Arkansas, for his daughter, Jasmine, who is not his daughter, but he paid 18 fucking years of child support. Yeah, I'd be a fucking want to know who this guy was up to too. Because now the cat's out of the fucking bag. Now the cat's out of the bag and poor fucking Gerald lost his jobs over your fucking bullshit. He lost his fucking income over your bullshit. Because you wanted to go bang his fucking best friend and go have a kid with him and then make Gerald float the fucking bill for 18 years. So go fuck you. I have no fucking patience for pieces of shit like you. And you want to call me fucking names directly or indirectly through our son or via through your catfish fucking mentality? You loco. This is why people don't take you seriously and know what they want to be with you in the first place. This is why all the American men are leaving the U.S. because of this fucked up mentality that Western women have, that they're somehow entitled to all of our fucking money after we break up. We break up, so therefore I'm entitled to half your shit. Well, I was never married to that girl. And if that kid had come with me, he wouldn't be in the fucking barrel. He wouldn't be in the fucking shithole, that place that he's at now. He wouldn't be feeling the way he is. Wouldn't be fucking dealing with the shit he has. He wouldn't have been dealing with a fucking lunatic mother that probably lied to him every step of the way to make sure that he didn't get in touch with me. To make sure that he would hate my guts the day that he was able to talk to me. Because I felt the same fucking way. We've been all brainwashed by feminism to believe that our dads were always the buffoon, the fucking idiot, that they're not good for anything, that we're all deadbeats. Regardless if you pay child support or not, you're always going to be a fucking deadbeat. And here's a sad statistic that 40% of children lose touch with their father 1 year after a divorce. 40% of children lose touch with their fathers a year after a divorce. And that's a statistic. So who is at fault here? The mothers are alienating the fathers. The mothers are alienating the fathers, whether they did any shit or not. That if they can't extract money from that person, they're going to make it fucking hard or impossible to see their kids. That's parental alienation, which is abuse. What did this woman do to me? She just made that kid fucking disappear. She had the kid, got the child support. The minute that bitch got the child support, she was ran off to Turkey somewhere. So you couldn't fucking Google her, or if you fucking wanted to on Google Earth, didn't even goddamn exist back then. Fucking running off, playing kickball with the fucking mariachi band in Mexico. You never know. What ended up happening? I wouldn't wish that on fucking anybody. Now, when I want to talk to my kid, I can't. Why? Because he blocked me. Because why? I told him the truth about his fucking mother doing what she did to me. And who in their right mind is going to deal with that? No man in the right mind is going to put up with an abusive person unless you are some kind of, you just love abuse. And I'm not down with that shit. Nobody can. And there's the thing. I could hear his voice, their mother's voice in him, because it's combative, like boom. And what he doesn't realize is that his father is a professor, and I do lectures. You're not going to beat me in a debate. And I didn't want to beat his ass in a debate. I didn't want to make him feel stupid. But I didn't want to make him feel like that he could just walk all over me like that shit. So I'm like, and that's what it was. He is trained by a woman. He was completely feminine, but he's got this masculine, I want to fucking kill you fucking attitude. And I asked him how well he could fight. And he said, oh, I've been in 2 fights. And one time he pushed a kid down the stairs. I was like, no, that's not a fight. That's attempted murder, dumbass. So he doesn't have any control over his emotions. This is one of the kids that needed me. But he didn't have me. So now he's facing all these fucked up demons that boys from fatherless homes deal with that end up in prison. And there's a whole long list of people with emotional problems, with school problems, with, just don't get along with others, loners. And it's sad because just like just like me, if he was musical, if he really was a musician, and he knew that one specific thing about the woodwinds, I just could, I was astonished. So I was like, okay, that's got to be him. But then when I had this conversation with him, this has to be a woman. There's no fucking way that what I just told him, he's still going to be siding with his mother. There's no fucking way. I was like, this is what happened. This is A, B, C. I had to fucking haul ass. And now you're telling me that you didn't reach out to me, you just looked for me. But you didn't say anything to me. And that was when I was in Colombia. All that time. And then he got this thing that said that I had children all over the world. Like, oh yeah? And I'm thinking, where have I heard this before? First of all, someone said that I was a paranoid schizophrenic. I never heard that before in my life, except from one person who was talking about another person, and that was my own mom. And he did say that his mom talked to my mom, which I was like astonished because I hadn't talked to my mom in 20 years. So if that was the case, then she was talking about my father, that she used to say that he was a paranoid schizophrenic. And I remember that as a kid. It was like but I met my father, and he wasn't a paranoid schizophrenic, and he turned out to be an okay guy that didn't have all these fucking problems that she told me about. He did tell me that my grandmother threatened to kill him, and I could hear that because it's not to be the first time. She wouldn't have no problem at all shooting somebody. Fuck whatever. So when I heard that, I was like, that makes sense. So you disappeared and blah, blah, blah. Because that is exactly what happened to me. So if I get threatened, I'm not fucking sticking around. If you're going to threaten violence against me, I can fucking leave anytime I want. You can't. I got things to do. I got a life to live. Sad thing is that kid could have been with me the whole fucking time. The whole fucking time. And I'm sure now he's thinking to himself he's beyond redemption and all this shit, and doesn't feel like he could, live up to a life around me. He's not, because if he's going to be combative and he's going to talk like he's talking to some schmuck fucking from 20 years ago, you're not going to get the audience because I'm not in your goddamn game. I am not playing the fucking game. I don't need to. I don't need to be, I don't need to affirm myself to anybody. You want to know all the bad shit I did? I told you all that shit that you accused me of was true. And then some, but that's just fucking half of it. But you gotta realize that who was with me every fucking day? Who was with me involved in every single aspect of fucking life in Germany with me every single day? Who was that? Okay, so let's call a spade a spade. You want to call some fucking motherfuckers names. So, and just so you guys know that Turkish people aren't the most ethical fucking people that live in Germany. Many are the ones responsible for most of the fucking bullshit scams and rip-offs and all that stuff. So don't give me no shit. Fucking, like, use your common sense. You see who everybody is. You know how those people are. And then you're going to try and expect me to somehow not be fucking involved with them somehow. Because they always were involved with some kind of gambling shit and always needed to be fucking bailed out of money. Always had to fucking hand money to these people. Always had to fucking... Because I was the token fucking foreigner for them. And like an idiot, they made it look like I had to wear my fucking wallet on top of my head. So I paid for her whole fucking family. And then, of course, I'm secretly paying fucking child support back in the States too. Which, by the way, comes automatically out of your check. Hello. So this whole idea that I didn't pay child support is fucking bullshit. So, anyway... They're always going to project the worst things about you so that they can get your kid to hate you. So if you are being alienated, here's my suggestion is you try your best to talk to that kid, talk some sense into that kid. If they want to be in your life, they will be. If they don't want to be in your life and they just want to be an asshole and find some fucking victim fucking shit to talk to you about and that it's all your fault and they don't want to, since their mom would say she had a part of it, wash your fucking hands of that shit, okay? Because you don't need it. You gave that kid a fucking chance to be a part of your life, and he's going to be a shit ass to you? Fuck him. That's what I say. Wash your hands of that shit. However, if you're that lucky motherfucker that does get a chance to have that kid back in your life, use that shit to your advantage, and all that missed time that you had, use that time to spend teaching him everything there is to know about what not to fucking do as a dad. What not to do as a man, what not to do as a husband, how not to be a fucking simp. You know what I mean? Not to give all this free time and non-sexual attention to these people that don't give a fuck about you. And that's basically the easiest thing you can do is just like, if you are not getting anything from this person except combative attitude, and I don't want to fucking talk to you, shit ass attitude, and I want to blame you for breaking up with my mom, which happened before you were even fucking born, fucking attitude. Fuck that shit. You know better than that stuff. So all you gotta do is just wash your fucking hands, and you never gotta talk to him again, because you already made it the point. It says, hey, I am here I am, I said, here I fucked up, and if you want to keep beating me to fuck up for the same shit I already paid for, I mean, the first thing out of his mouth, what happened to you? First thing I did was went to jail for the fucking dumb shit I did. How about you? How was your life? You know what I'm saying? That's like the first question out of his fucking mouth. What happened to you? Well, I went to fucking jail. Boom. In fact, I went to jail 19 times. To be correct. To be exact. 19 fucking times. That's how many times I went to jail. So, not for years, but literally one night. So what are you going to say? I'm a fucking career criminal? No, I was an alcoholic. And I made alcoholic fucking brilliant moves. So, I got sober on the 19th of March, 2002. So, in March, just past, was 21 years. So, I have nothing more to say about that. I'm not ashamed of how I fucking am now. Gotta be kidding me, man. You gotta be a stand-up guy these days, man, and not lie to anybody whatsoever. That's my thing, man. It's like, I don't want to lie to you, kid. I don't want to fucking lie to you. I mean, I shared with them all the stuff I've been teaching. Share with them all the cool stuff, the videos I've been doing. But then he got mad and says, "Don't talk about my mother on the internet." Well, you know what? If it's not true, why the fuck are you getting mad? Why the fuck is this person getting mad if it's not even relevant? Because you wouldn't get mad. But if it was true and you want to defend a person that you know is fucking guilty, you would get mad. See, these motherfuckers don't realize I'm 50 moves ahead. Alright? All these fake fucking usernames and all this bullshit you're trying to fucking pull off. Dude, that's baby game shit to me. Save that shit for the fans, not for the fucking players. Okay? I tried that. I played the whole fucking... No, that shit don't fly with me. Okay? If I was doing anything wrong or illegal by just saying, "Hey kid, I'm your father. If you want to be with me, I'll fly you here tomorrow." Just like that. That is how quickly I could put that kid on a plane and then fly him here. But you see, the problem is that you don't know the psychological problems that he's gone through with this woman who threatened to fucking kill me. Who the fuck knows? This kid might be coronavirus activated, motherfucking stab everybody in my fucking school. You know what I'm saying? Because now this motherfucker's saying that he is a paranoid schizophrenic, or he has paranoia, which I don't believe that for a minute. And if he has some kind of problem that can be actually detected with using these genetic tests now, that tells you what's wrong with you. And then you can actually treat it. It's just that easy now, guys. So fuck doctors and fuck schools that just promote people promoting prescription drugs. So fuck yourself. Anyway, if you got any more things you want to keep writing there in the chat, I appreciate that. And everyone that showed up today, I'm the professor, and I'm out.